Sorry. So, perfect. I am here today to talk about how to use Facebook and especially Facebook groups, your own Facebook group, to get clients in just 30 days. So at the end of this session, I'm going to show you, I have built out a kind of a day by day, 30-day how can I say, path to go through, so you can actually go day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 to know exactly what it is that you should do in order to get clients in just 30 days. But in order to do that, we need some basic things in order to kind of make that work. And that is what this session is going to be about. So I'm going to talk about how you can use Facebook groups to attract and turn leads from cold to sold within just 30 days. Okay. And for you who don't know me, my name is Angela. I'm a conversion event sales expert. So what I do is that I help our clients attract and turn leads from cold to sold using virtual events. But I didn't start out doing that. I actually started out in the health and wellness industry. So back in 2016-ish, I was a truck driver. So I was living in the truck from Sunday to Friday every week, unloading and loading, and of course, working and sleeping in the truck. And I was dreaming about another lifestyle. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to have kind of an independent life and have money in the bank. It's as simple as that, right? So I'm in the weekends, I worked as a personal trainer in a local gym. So when I launched my first business online, it was a health and wellness business. The problem was that I didn't know anything about what I was doing. I didn't know anything about the online space, organic marketing versus paid marketing, all those kind of things, niching down. I didn't even know that there was a word called dream client. So I launched and I was kind of sold an idea and a dream of evergreen sales. So what I did was that I built a fitness app. I run ads to quizzes, and depending on what they replied in these quizzes, they got sold one of my programs that I had inside of the app. And that was a lot of them. I think I have 22, 25 maybe different type of programs inside of the app. It was kind of a mess. And that way of running a business almost costed me more money than I was making because the app was expensive, the ads were expensive, and they didn't perform very well because I actually didn't know what I was doing. And then I came across a virtual event, and this was a 5-day challenge. And I thought, wow, can it just be this simple? Can I just invite people, speak to them, and then they are going to buy my stuff? I launched a 5-day challenge and I failed because what I didn't understand was that there is an entire strategy behind running virtual events. So that is the first time I hired myself a real coach, and it was an expert in how to build webinars and 5-day challenges. And I relaunched, okay? And that challenge, together with a webinar, took that fitness business that I had started, that had been struggling for month after month after month, to make me $100,000 in sales within 4 months. And I didn't do any sales between these two things, between the challenge and between the webinar. Not that I didn't want to do sales, I just didn't know how to do sales. So I only sold in the capacity one-to-many through the 5-day challenge and then in the webinar. Then in 2019, I started to help others do webinars. And in 2020, I quit as a truck driver. I closed my fitness business and I started to help only with helping people do events. So what we do is anything from live selling, webinars, masterclasses, challenges, workshop, you name it, live launches. And back then, I would say before end of 2021, in the beginning of 2022, I used Facebook groups to host all my events. So it wasn't until the end of 2021, in the beginning of kind of 22, that I started to move into Zoom. So I started to invite people into a Zoom room instead of using a Facebook group. So what I did before was that I invited people into the Facebook group. I collected their emails when they entered the group, and then I live streamed using Facebook Live. So I didn't actually use back then even Zoom to kind of stream into the groups. And then I started to use Zoom and invite people from all platforms to the Zoom room, because what the pandemic told everyone, or learned everyone, how to use Zoom, how to join a Zoom room. Right? So it was very easy to get people on a Zoom because they know exactly how it worked. So I used Zoom and streamed that into Facebook groups, exactly like I do now, right? And that is the entire simplicity of it. And that is how I built my entire business. And from that, you can, of course, move into different types of, there are so many streaming platforms and so many webinars platforms, but I love simplicity. And the way that I did it back then, kind of technically, is exactly the same way we do now, even if the events and the way that we do them looks very different because things have changed, right? But if we kind of look at the baseline of why that worked so well to actually invite people to an event, a masterclass, or a live selling, or something like this, a kind of a webinar or some kind of free training, invite them to that, speak to people and convert them, why that works so well. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And what we also could see, I would say, about a year ago, was that Facebook started not pushing out groups so much as they did before. So there was a lot of Facebook groups that the engagement started to go down inside of people's groups. And now that have turned. So now Facebook again is pushing out Facebook groups that are engaging, right? And that is compared to kind of the engagements compared to how many members you have. So there was a lot of you that already have groups. You don't need to start a new group, right? You might already have a group that you just need to get some fire inside to make it work again. The thing with Facebook groups is that it's kind of collective, right? It's where you collect people, your people. I'm not talking about this random groups. I'm talking about the group for your dream client. I'm not talking about a group for anyone. I'm now talking about a targeted group that you build or have built that have your dream client. So not randomly just inviting people to a group that is not even going to buy from you anyway, because that is going to be kind of a struggle. I'm talking about groups that have your target market inside, that you have built or already built or going to build. Okay. And it's going to be like a collective. So you almost collect people that are your people inside of a community. And that is where you can nurture them, you can connect with them, you can build like, know, and trust very closely. And you can do things like market research, you can do communication, you can run events. There's so many things to do inside of a community that have and host your target market. Okay, but in order to all this kind of things to work, we need to have some things, right? And those are the things that I wanted to cover today. So make sure you do have pen and paper so you can kind of start crafting out your way of doing this to attract and turn leads from cold to sold using only Facebook. At the end of this session, you're going to get an invitation to join my membership, where we on Monday start a 30-day together. So it's a day by day kind of action plan, what to do every single day for 30 days to get clients before the end of the month. So we start on Monday and we run for 30 days together. But I'm going to come back to that. So the first thing to make this work, I really hope, if any questions on Facebook, please make sure that you add them in the comment section. I can't see any comments, so I will go back if there is any questions, okay? Because I'm not sure that the comments actually pops up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Since Facebook kind of removed the API access, so you now need to stream using the custom streaming, we struggle getting the comments up on the live stream on Facebook since then. So that can be a struggle, but make sure you add any questions. We have Aniko here that is in the membership on the Zoom as well. And the Zoom link is also posted inside of the Facebook group if you rather join on Zoom. But in order to make this work, we need some things. The first thing we need, if we're going to use Facebook as a collective, both our, of course, Facebook profile, but also a Facebook group, is to know the who. Who are you targeting? Who is your perfect participant? Who is your perfect group member? And that is your dream client, right? So who is it that you want to attract? And you want to be as clear as possible, but you don't want to get stuck here, because there's a lot of people that get stuck in niching down. So it actually prevents them from moving forward. Don't be that person. I have been in programs where people were still niching down at the end of the 6 month and they came nowhere. And then you had people that didn't niche down that much, that didn't build in a vacuum. They went to the market with a little bit of an unclear niche, but they were doing progress, okay? Because what can happen is that you get stuck. So I want you to think about who is your perfect person. And when you think about that person, you want to understand their problems, their struggles, their frustrations, and their fears, right? That is things that holding them back to getting what they want. And the most important thing when it comes to that is how do they describe it themselves? Not how you describe their problem or you describe their struggles, frustrations, or fears, how they actually say it, the language, the words. That is what you want to write down, because it's very important to understand that you are here and the people that you are attracting, they are over here. And those are the people that you're going to sell to. And those people use a certain language. They say things, they describe how they struggle or the way that they feel and things like that in their language. And that is the language that you need to use in order to get them in. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Otherwise, you're going to speak kind of over their heads and they're just not going to get it. And when people don't get it, they just don't get it. So they're not going to join. So that is the first thing. That is their stage where they are now, right? And then you want to look on the other side of these people, their dreams, their desires, and their wanted result, right? So that is on this side. So they are here and they want to go here. How do they describe this? What do they actually say? And here you can see, I know a lot of people kind of say, yeah, I'm so tired of hearing about the earn 10K per month, right? There's a lot of people talking about the 10K per month. Why? Because their dream client, if they go out and ask them, what is it that you want? What do you want in 1 year from now? I want to have 10K month. So you can bet your ass that that person is going to say 10K per month, because that is the language and that is the word that their dream client uses to express and describe what it is that they want, right? I have that word with pitch. I hate the word pitch because I do not believe in pitching. I believe in conveying a message. I do virtual events. So I believe in conveying a message and do an invitation. But if I go out and say that now you should invite people, and they're going to say, what do you mean? I don't get it. You want to pitch people. Okay. Because that is the worst word that they use. So when I do my virtual events and talk about sales, I talk about pitching, and then I convey my message that it's not a pitch. Even if you use that word, it's actually not a pitch. It's an invitation. But if I go out and speak my language, nobody's going to get it. So that is why it's important that you do this to kind of list where you write down in how they describe struggles, frustration, fears, dreams and desires, wanted result, problems, all those kind of things. So when you go out and start inviting people to your community, you use the same words, because that is what they are going to get. Okay, so that is the who. We need to be very clear with that. And the next thing, of course, you need in order to get these people is to invite them in. So in order to grow and scale any business, you need to have the fundamentals in place. And that is what this is all about. Because what you're going to do for the next 30 days is the fundamentals. It's the absolute basic in a business, and that is lead generation. It's when you invite people in, not your audience, or they sign up for something. They enter your lead funnel in top. So they say yes to something. It can be a freebie, it can be an event, it can be joining your group or a download, whatever, right? They say yes and they come in. So that they enter top of the funnel, lead generation. And then we need to build trust with those people. And now more than ever, trust is your biggest currency. Because what have happened in the market is that from 2020, anyone can put up a bio that have a phone, actually, that have a phone, put up a bio, claim to be an expert and sell exactly what you do. No entry level. And that is why the market exploded, right? And now, thanks to AI, and I'm not against AI, so just to make that clear, but now, thanks to AI, these people can also sound like experts, right? Because we can use ChatGPT. So we can write content and things like that using AI. And if we also look at what have happened during 2020, 21, and a little bit into, I would say, half of 22 maybe, is that people bought a lot of stuff. They bought all the promises. They have seen it all. They have heard it all. They got burned, right? They bought a lot of stuff that didn't deliver. So the trust kind of recession is huge. The amount of time to get someone to go from cold to sold to trust you enough to buy a high ticket offer is months of the month. And we want to compress that, right? We want to compress that time it takes for someone to go from cold to sold. So the middle of your funnel is where you're going to build trust. And we call that lead nurturing. So lead, you need to get people in, lead generation. You need to build trust with those people, lead nurturing. And then you also need to make an offer. You need to invite people to actually buy your stuff. And that is lead conversion. So your job, your baseline of your business should be to have a system that gets people in, build trust, and sell to them. In, build trust, sell to them as an ongoing process. That is the absolute baseline of a business. And if you don't have that, that is where you need to start. The problem that I see is that a lot of entrepreneurs spend too much time in one of these. So they either just generate leads, that is all their focus, generate leads that build absolutely no trust, and they sell directly to them. The problem with that is that you will always sell to cold people that have no idea maybe who you are. They haven't built that trust with you. And it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle. So you spend too much time on the top. And then you can see people that only nurture. So the only thing that they do is that they help people do things. So they run trainings and they post content and they nurture, but they never ask for the sale. So they are almost like a YouTube. So they are a source of information, but they never ever make any sales because they don't make any offers. Okay? And then you can see people that only sell, but they never generate new leads. So they're consistently trying to sell to the same people. And in the beginning, when you start selling to your audience, that works perfectly fine. But somewhere along the way, you're going to run out of people to sell to, because you need to get new people in, new blood coming in to your business. And that is the leads. Okay. But the leads needs to come from somewhere, because who are we going to invite? Your audience. So above the funnel, you have your audience, and that also needs to grow consistent, because otherwise your pool of people to invite to get onto your list, downloading a freebie, joining a training, joining your group, is going to dry out. Okay, so growing an audience is on top, and then you invite people, lead generation, get them to say yes. Then you build like, know, and trust with those people, lead nurturing, and then you make an offer. And you should spend equal time doing these three things, so you don't end up selling to the same people or chasing leads, which is exhausting in the long run because it's very short-sighted, right? So that is the baseline of your business. The beauty with using a Facebook group is that you're going to do these three things at the same time. Okay? So when you invite people into your community, now I'm talking again, I want to emphasize that this is a community of your dream client. I'm not talking about building random groups. I have a random groups with 17,000 members. It's just random. Maybe 10% is my dream clients. That is not the group that I'm talking about. I'm talking about a community for your people only. Okay? So you invite them into that community. That is the lead generation. And that is very simple because lead generation is actually just invitations. It's like, do you want this? I have this, say yes. Yes. I'm hosting a training on Thursday helping you lose weight with the keto diet. Would you like to join? Yes. That is lead generation, very simplified, but it's lead generation. It's simple yeses. But then you go out and invite your audience to do something, to take a step. Download a freebie, joining your community, joining a webinar, joining an event, something that gets them inside saying yes. Okay? So that is how you start filling your community. And then we have the nurturing. And of course, we can nurture our audience with only content, like posting, pictures, text, copy, all those kind of things. But it takes multiple months from someone to go from like, know, and trust through just reading your content. I remember 6 months ago or something, the statistic of how many hours of content a person needed to kind of go through in order to trust enough to click and buy was 7 hours. If you think about content online, that is just, you just read, right? Think about how much content they need to read in order to go through those 7 hours. It's a lot, right? And there is nothing that builds trust faster than going live, video. I'm not talking about recorded video. Do they convert? Absolutely. Evergreen webinars. But being live with your community, like I am here now with you, is the absolute fastest way to build the like, know, and trust in order to ask for the sale. That is why virtual events overall work so well, especially today, because you can't fake this. I can't fake being here with you. I am live. You can ask me any questions, right? And that is not the energy of it. And I invite you to this energy. I invite you to this training to come and join me. And when I invite you to join my membership, this is the energy. This is the entire thing in the membership, right? So that is why that converts so well. So when we, inside of the membership, start with our 30-day to get clients, we run a live selling like this, right? Almost like a little masterclass. And that is not only to sell. Think about the middle part of the funnel. It's the entire nurturing. One of these, let's say 60 minutes live session is going to build more trust than content that you post for multiple months in your Facebook group. Because it's going to shorten the buying cycle like this. That is what's going to happen. And this doesn't require a lot of, this is not like live launching or that we run 9-day live launch or a 5-day challenge that we do multiple weeks of lead generation. We nurture our audience before entire. I'm talking about live selling, almost trust building events where you have invited people to join some kind of session that you're going to host inside of your community. So you invite them in, you go out and do lead generation. I'm hosting a training next week on Monday, helping you scale with Instagram Reels. Would you like to join? That's it. Yes, someone says, come and join me. And then you collect their email address and they come and join your training. And the training starts which means you start nurturing the audience. You build like, know, and trust during your event, your live selling. And at the end of the live selling, what do? Invite them to take the next step, right? It's actually as simple as that. And that is the lead conversion, okay? So one kind of community of your dream client and one live selling and like a trust building event. I'm not talking about large events here. We talk about these simple things, right? Can actually be your entire baseline funnel of your business. And that doesn't take multiple months to put together. And if you join the membership, we're going to do this. We're going to build it. We're going to get clarity in who, okay? So we know who we are targeting here, everything that we have total clarity. We are going to invite people to some kind of live selling into a community. We are going to run the live selling, invite people to purchase your offer, and then also go back and look at the data of everything. What happened? What can you improve in just 30 days? But for this to convert, we have one last thing, and that is your offer, okay? And here is the thing with offers. And I'm not teaching here how to create offers, but when you have written down the who, we talked about it in the beginning. When you have written down the who, the problems, struggles, frustration, fears, all those kind of things, you have written down the other thing, where they want to go, their dreams, desires, wanted result, small result, big vision, all those kind of things. So you can clearly see that this is my dream client, where they are today. This is my dream client, where they want to go. Then you put that on this side. You put your offer here, and then you look if this is aligned. Because if it's not, it doesn't matter how good your event is, how good your target of the market is. When you present your offer, if that is not something they want to buy, they're not going to buy it. Your job is to give people what they want, and then you provide inside of your offer what they need to get what they want. But there needs to be an offer alignment between the offers, what problems you solve in the offer, what result you get people in the offer, with what your dream clients say, okay? So as much as it's important to invite the right kind of people, so we don't invite dog people into a cat group, because it's not going to work, the equal importance is that your offer is a perfect match for what your dream client actually say that they want. Because people do not buy things that they don't want to buy. It's as simple as that. Because sometimes we just need to be honest with ourselves. We fall in love with our offers because we think they are so damn good, and they probably are, but they are not in a perfect alignment with the people that we are selling them to. And we start doubting ourselves, and we start thinking that we do something wrong. I can't do this. Something is wrong here with this or with that or with whatever, when it's actually just an unalignment between these two. And either you need to recreate how you talk about your offer. I'm not talking about throwing the offer away. I'm talking about looking into where in the clarification of this offer am I going off? And how can I clarify how I speak about my offer so these people understand that this is for me? Okay? So that is very important, because your entire nurture process that is in the funnel, that is going to be, for an example, a live selling like this, a nurturing event, a trust building event, where you show up and you take people on a transformation, you share the big vision, you talk about their problems, struggles, how you have the solution and things like that. That is going to be the bridge between these two. So you invite the dog people into the dog group, you take them on the journey, and your offer is going to be the next natural step for these people to actually achieve what they want. Okay, so all this is kind of the foundation of all this is, of course, to have clarity around this. So for anyone that join the membership, we start on Monday. We are going to spend week 1 to get totally clear with this. So our first day, we are going to go through profitable niche. So you position your offer in one of the profitable niches that is online. You have 3 big. It's money and wealth, like saving money, making money, health and wellness, and that is also mindset, losing weight, all those kind of things. And then you have the relationship and love market, right? Relationship with coworkers, find the love of your life, marriage counseling, all those kind of things. Those are the big niches, top niches, where people spend most money and make most money. And your offer is going to be positioned in one of those. And it has nothing to do with recreating an offer. It has to do with understanding your dream client in a more deeper way. So I can give you kind of an example of this. That is an old client of mine. It's multiple years ago, but it's a really good example because she helped people with gardening. So I can't say her background, I can't remember, but she had some kind of gardening course. And when she wanted to pick who she wanted to work with, she wanted to help single moms that was working full time and has had small children. And then you just need to think about that mom and ask yourself, okay, would that mom spend money on a gardening course? Because she has 2 kids, she works full time, and she probably don't have time to even maintain the garden, right? So probably, maybe not. If we would go out and say to her, hey, you want a nice garden? I have a gardening course. She would say, it's okay. I don't need it. I don't have time for it. Okay. But if we look at that mom a little more deeper, what happens when this mom comes home and she sees this garden that actually looks like a jungle? So it's totally crazy outside. It's totally grown. And she actually just closed the curtains because she don't want to see it. Because when she looks out, she gets stressed. So it starts almost ticking in here, and she almost gets, oh, so stressed. I need to go out and fix the garden, and I don't have time. And the kids, I'm going to do dinner, I'm going to do that. I just don't have the time. So I close. Okay. And then you ask the mom, okay, but if you kind of would create a new garden, what would you do? How would it make you feel? Oh my God, if I would have had a nice garden, I would have the curtains open, I would have the light coming in, I would have the kids play outside because I would have a little kids corner, but I would also have maybe a kind of a chair for me where I could sit and relax, drink some tea, maybe some wine, read a book, and a barbecue. I could invite my friends over. And that is what we need to sell. It's the same gardening course. It's just that we position it for something that she actually wants, something that she desires, something that she can actually picture herself. Though it's the same program, it's just how you positioning the offer that makes the big deal here. I hope that kind of examples give you an understanding that usually we don't need to throw out an offer. We just need to repositioning so that it actually sells. Because the mom is not going to buy a gardening course, but she's going to buy a transformation for her entire almost social life if she just get the gardening fixed, right? And that is a very good example. So we do that week on Monday, Tuesday, dream client, day 2. Then we optimize your offer, make sure that the offer is a perfect match for what you are going to, who you are going to attract. And also when it comes to that, we have the pricing of the offer as well. So we are going to go through pricing. And this I can just say when it comes to pricing, that whatever you feel good here, when you say, is the right price at the moment. Nothing else, okay? Do we sometimes have a little low? Yeah. But if you feel good at saying it, it feels, yeah, I feel comfortable when I mention the investment. you start there, because you can always increase your prices and you can always lower your prices. So we are going to go through pricing. We're going to optimize profiles, because you can't have an unoptimized profile when you go out and start inviting people, because they're going to click on your name. That's as simple as that. So when you go out and post something in a Facebook group telling people, hey, I'm hosting a training next week, helping you XYZ, would you like to join? They're going to click on your name. So they're going to end up on your profile. So you want to optimize the profile. And with that come what we call our one-line moneymaker. And that is very simplified, the I help statement. I help XYZ get XYZ without XYZ, right? But that can be said in a million different ways, but the baseline is that. What we then do when we have total clarity about that is to look into what kind of a community would you like to have. I recommend and I really encourage people to use Facebook groups, and that is because it's free, of course. It's simple, right? Everybody can join, very simple, into the Facebook group, and everybody almost uses Facebook, right? We are streaming this to Facebook. You are on Facebook. Otherwise, you wouldn't see this session, right? So, but there is a lot of ways of doing it, a lot of communities where you can grow. You might want to grow your YouTube, so you want to run all your events on YouTube. You might want to grow your profile instead and just run the events. And then, of course, you need to have some kind of sign up to get the email addresses. So that is what we do week 1. Week 2, we start designing how you're going to sell. What are you going to sell? How are we going to do your live selling? And be very clear with that. And then we start writing invitations. And then we move on. So in week 4, you are actually going to run your first live selling, one too many, right? And it's like this. You sell one too many. You can use Zoom. We can do Facebook live streaming. You can stream to YouTube, StreamYard. There's multiple ways of doing it. I love the simplicity. That's why I use Zoom. But there is other ways of doing it, right? You can use Facebook Live. If you want to run it totally for free, you use Facebook Live. So we built a live selling session. And that is not just information thrown together, because we want to know that we take our audience on a journey and we lead them into our offer. Because otherwise it's just going to be like teaching, but you need to lead people into your offer as well. So it becomes like a natural next step. Some people are going to purchase, some people are not going to purchase, and that is totally fine. And the best thing with the community is that the ones that are not ready, they stay in your community. You continue nurturing them with great content. You do some fun stuff in the group. We have massive amount of examples inside of the membership that you can kind of do inside of your group to keep the engagement. And then you run something like this again, live selling session. And then they might convert. Some people will never convert. So a certain percent of your audience will convert. Okay. And then after the 30 days, if you stay inside of the membership, what you then want to do, that we started this session talking about, is to grow the audience. Because otherwise you can run these type of live selling session and all of a sudden you're not going to sell anything, because you sell to the same people over and over and over, because you never ever grow an audience or get new people in. And in order to get new people in, we need new people in our audience. We need to come across new people. We need to grow our visibility. We need to position ourselves on the market so we stand out and we kind of elevate through the noise that actually is online. We want to come across other people's audiences, like be on podcast, be on do a live swap, right? Or be in summits, for an example. There's so many ways of coming across other people's audiences. So after the 30 days, when you have gotten your first clients in your first one too many sales like this, and you have nurtured them, so you now have some people that is inside your offer, some people that is in the nurturing process. We don't stop there. We need to continue grow the audience. We also continue to sell to that audience. We want to create a freebie. We want to maybe have another offer, upsells and downsales. We might want to run different types of event. We might want to run some kind of sales sequence to our list and things like that in order to get more people running through our entire the lead funnel, the like, know, and trust. Okay, so that comes after the 30 days. So the membership is kind of a growth path. First it is a 30-day kickoff. It's fast. It's meant to get your clients in week 4. And then in week 5, you kind of reset everything, look at your numbers, and set up a plan for the next 2 months. So you actually start with a 3-month, and then you move in from 3 to 6 months. And then I have a scaling growth path that is from 6 to 12 months if you want to stay. But for only $29, because that is the monthly, $29, you get your first 30 days. We start on Monday, and get your first clients. If you, of course, follow the steps. It requires you to actually follow the steps to be able to set everything up, but it's daily steps. So I'm going to quickly, in a moment, show you. Just going to look at my notes here so I didn't forget anything. No. So this is kind of how you can utilize Facebook groups. And as I said, the beauty, I think, with Facebook groups, of course, they are free to kind of run. If most people have a Facebook account, most of you that I am running this for are already on Facebook, but it's also that they are very easy. And there is no other social media platform that have groups that works as Facebook groups actually do. Okay. I mean, you have LinkedIn, for example. LinkedIn have LinkedIn groups, but they are very hard to monetize. They are very hard to kind of run this. Can you do it? Absolutely. But it's not as easy as a Facebook group, right? But then you also have another massive amount of other platforms. We have all this school, we have Mighty Network. There's so many things to pick from if you don't want to use Facebook, right? So that could be something to look into. And if you feel like, no, I'm not going to host a community, but I would like everyone to be collected on my YouTube, for example, yeah, you need a landing page to collect the email addresses. Because the beauty with the Facebook group is that you put up a wall, so they need to leave their email address to either participate or join, because you can have an open group and a closed group, right? So either they need to leave their email address to participate in the group, or they need to leave their email address when joining the group. So that is how you can collect the email addresses without having a landing page. Another way of doing it is to use Zoom landing page registration page, is that you click on the Zoom and you click that they need to register. So when people come and entering your Zoom room, they need to leave their name and email address. And you can also use that page for people to register before the Zoom. But then you need to have the people on the Zoom, right? Because that is where they're going to join. And then, of course, you can stream it. And we have how to stream in Facebook groups since the API access was cut from Facebook, and how to multi-stream if you want to do that. Multi-stream a Zoom room using Restream and things like that. Everything is inside of the membership. But what I wanted to show you is just quickly, and we're not going to open the sessions, but I just wanted to show you that it's day by day. So this is what I have created. We start on Monday together. So it's built in weeks. So week 1, we have the clarity and offer setup. So first here is, I can show you. So it goes a little like this. Week 1, day 1, day 2, day 3. And then you have links to sessions. There is a recorded session, text sessions, worksheets, and things like that to help you. But it is like this: day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So you just click day 1 and you do that day, and then you do the next thing next day. And then we have week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. And here you see it says transition to phase 2. So if you stay on the membership, you move into audience growth after the 30 days. Okay, so I just wanted to show you. And I'm going to share the link in the, I'm not sure I can share it on the Facebook. I will share it in the comment section. I will do a post in the Facebook group. And here you have everything that you need to know about the membership. You also have the different parts, and you can see that you have this 30 days, and then you can stay in the membership to continue grow. So you have your entire growth roadmap here with the 30 days, and then you move into 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6, and 6 to 12 if you want to stay. And you can cancel the membership anytime. We run 2 live sessions. We run 1 live session on Monday. That is kind of an extra session. And then during the 30 days now, we run 2 pure Q&A sessions. So we don't kind of end up you sitting there and have questions, because I don't want anyone to sit around not getting anywhere just because you have a question. So we run live 2 live Q&As and implementations every month, and we also run monthly client-only workshops. And the next one we have is now in September, and that is part 2 of the difference between lead generation content and brand building content. I hosted the first one in July, and you get the recording of that. And we have part 2 of that now in September, because we have had a summer break, July and August. So the next one is in September, okay? So you get that. So it's 3 live sessions every month that is going to help you through this. So come and join us. I will share a post in the Facebook group with the membership, and that you can come and join. And I have a little, what do you call it? Gamification? Not sure. I think it's called that, gamification. Anyone that joins before Sunday and actually join and do all the 30 steps. So we kind of go through day by day 30 steps and accomplish that and run your live selling and do all the things that you should do. After that session, you join me on a Zoom privately for 30 days to put up your plan for audience growth. And anyone that is already in the membership are going to get that bonus as well. So for you who are already in the membership, that start and join on Monday, where we go through the 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, we go day by day. It's going to unlock day by day, okay? And you accomplish all the steps. You also get a 30-minute planning session. And in that session, we look, what do you need to do in order to grow your audience? What do you need to do in order to make more sales? Because that is very, very individual. The membership have everything you need in place to grow an audience, but it's going to look different for everyone depending on what you already have, right? If you're targeting more, I want to grow an audience, or you target more, I want to increase my prices of my offers. I want to create a second offer. I want to create a freebie. It can look so different. So anyone that is in the membership that joins starting Monday, so we have a session Monday where we go through the entire 30 days so everybody knows where to start, what to do. And then we have inside of the membership, so you can comment when you have done. I am done with today's stuff, and this is what I have done. So we can keep track. And for you who are in the membership, you get that 30 minutes planning session with me. And for anyone that joins now before Sunday, because we start on Monday, also get that. And that is valued a lot, right? And it's a private session. So it's not a group session, that is a private session. So anyone that is in the membership get that as well. So thank you so much for today. And I hope this was valuable for you. And as I said, the recording stays in the Facebook group for 30 days. But I'm going to upload this on YouTube. So we have, I'm going to add the YouTube link in the Facebook group. So when this goes down, or Facebook takes it down, we have the training. So thank you, Aniko. So if you follow along, you are a member. So on starting Monday, then I will give you access. So you who are in the membership, you are going to get on Monday 2 emails from System.io, because I have built this 30 days as a standalone thing. So you're going to get a System.io email that I have added you. and then we go through everything on Monday. So on Monday you get that email, and we start on the top, and I'm going to show you all the days and how you can you follow along, and then you just do day by day. And I would say set aside an hour per day, and on the weekends we have kind of just wraps up and clarity and things like that. So on the first week, for an example, we just kind of go through. On Saturday you just check, and then on Sunday you kind of little bit prepare for week 2. So it's a 30 days, it's Saturday and Sunday as well, but I would say maybe 30 minutes Saturday, 30 minutes Sunday, and 1 hour during the week. Okay, but that is nothing if you're going to get clients. I mean, you need to look at the return of investment here. Both the investment in money is 29, you can cancel anytime, right? Or an hour per day to get clients. It's nothing. It's nothing. I'm just going to say it's absolutely nothing. And instead of spending hours on, I don't know, scrolling on social media, call it working, you're going to be nail focused for an hour per day. Okay. That's the thing. So thank you so much, and I will see you. I have a training, I think it was Wednesday next week, in the Facebook group that I'm gonna host a training as well. So I will see you then, and I hope to join inside of the membership. So take care, everyone. Bye.